BigBear.AI is one of those stocks that feels like it has a little bit of a cult following in certain corners of the market, but for good reason. Let's take a closer look at what's actually happening with BBAI today. And recently, we were taking a look at Redwire. This morning, we were trading TSLL. We actually got into the inverse of the market over on SOXS as the market pulled back. This is an inverse stock, so when the market rallies, this stock goes down, but when it goes up, when the market goes down, this one goes up. You can see we're up. We got a market sell stop there. And if you ever want to learn how to trade AI, quantum, space stocks, and much more, we're even going into data centers right now, then I would encourage you, check the second link in the description. Just simply take a look. Stockmates is our daily live trading. We trade there Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. right at market open. If you want to be there and get to surround yourself with other like-minded investors, lifetime access to those daily live sessions in the second link in the description. We were able to identify over 24 millionaires inside of Stockmate. So if you're ever trying to surround yourself with people that have portfolio values of over $1 million, again, it's the second link in the description. But one of the most exciting headlines here for BigBear.AI, they've recently started to build out their VeriScan technology, their biometrics. And it's on a lot of people's radars because they're a rare pure play. And for public companies in AI, not always do you get to see that they are available. And if you look at the stock at its current price, we're again just around $7 a share, $6.76. With the AI boom that we're in right now, there's a lot of people chasing AI tickers, a lot of hype articles. Not important. You don't need to look at these articles. What's important is that you have solid insights. And one thing that has kind of brought this stock back down to earth, I think, and why it's corrected from $8 down to about $6.75 is because of an anticipation of their earnings. Now, they've had some really good contract wins with multi-year deals with the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Army. They got this new CEO, Kevin McAleenan. From a perspective of their recent contracts, seems like they're moving in the right direction. They got their earnings coming up, and last earnings call, the revenue grew year over year, but we still are seeing them R&D, and they were reducing their debt. That's what they focused on last quarter. For a government services company, hovering around 25 to 30% of what we could see them build out to if they secure some of these future contracts we're seeing. One of the contracts on the balance right now is this TSA, and this is the Homeland Security contract that potentially could renew for about $5.5 billion. Now, they would get a small piece of it if they're able to get it. And there's other companies that are considered like Leidos, who we read the government wasn't renewing with on one of the occasions of this contract. But you have AI driven. When you talk about the government saying AI driven, they're looking to get technology for remote screening and reduce the reliance on manual labor. And this could be a huge potential contract. Now this customer of Big Bear, which is the U.S. government, they work with the Pentagon and Defense. It's a bet that they get this contract, but it could be massive. Now, it's a pretty high risk, high reward play right now at the moment ahead of earnings. It seems like they are building out a lot of institutional interest. And while it's maybe a little bit more certain around institutions, you see increased positions while the revenue is increasing year over year. And honestly, while this VeriScan, we see it deployed in TSA, like it is out there. It is very much real. I've seen it in Denver. We've seen it in Chicago, in JFK, and others. So these are very new and real announcements that they're deploying to. And they're even going directly to gates. But I guess one of the things that is going to see that we got to watch are the revenues growing fast enough. They're growing fairly slow. So we really got to see them kick up. They mentioned that their revenue wasn't quite fully realized and that they were waiting for money to hit their bank account that they couldn't report in the last quarter. So that could be essential for their catalyst of this next earnings. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, TSA, obviously, they're looking for tech. Big Bear could be that tech. Now, they're focusing on AI driven analytics here and leveraging computer vision technology. And this year could be make or break because if they, let's say, translate some of those contracts into cash flow and they get some more deals ahead of the World Cup and things like that, that's great. And they're going to see a massive amount of money if that's the case. You got the World Cup, you got the Olympics. But here is the other thing. While they're getting real world usage, and this is kind of forward looking, like they'll probably already have more money at this point if we get to this point, right? But one of the things to consider with the stock here, we're going to take a look at the chart as well, is that if there's one thing that the TSA seems to struggle with, and I always feel like this is going to be a problem, is fully integrating with Homeland Security. A lot of things are slow. A lot of things are in paper. My wife that's in the background right now here, Tammy, is from Argentina. And we went through the process of doing like green card and citizenship. How many pieces of paper did we have to submit?
Oh,
Like 30 pieces, 30 different documents.
so many.
The exact number is 27 documents that we had to get together for her to do it. Are they going to be able to have that data become a part of the Big Bear biometrics? Because the last thing, this would be really scary. Imagine they don't have that data and TSA doesn't become effective because they can't tell when immigrants are coming in that shouldn't be coming in because it's all on the biometric scanning. Or the reverse could happen where things get scary because they go too hard or they're not abiding perfectly by what the records indicate, or they don't have the records because they're hard to get or they're in paper or whatever. And people like my wife are coming in from, let's say, we go on a trip to Spain or we go to Italy or we recently went to Argentina or Colombia. When we come back into the US, if it's biometric that gets her back in, it's not a TSA person. What if there's something wrong with the biometrics and it says that it doesn't recognize that she has her green card? That's not in the system maybe for Big Bear, or that's not in the system that she is eligible to come back and in and out of the US because we had to do a ton of documentation, but she's able to do that. So what happens then? Do they just, oh, well, that's what the system says. You can't come back in the US. They're going to have to get good if they plan on really reducing the TSA, because this is the contract, right? If they really get multi-billion-dollar contracts, get to the point where their stock could be a 10, $20 billion company, and they're not just maybe at the gates, they kind of shield themselves and that even if the TSA stuff doesn't work out, they're still going directly to the companies like Delta, American Airlines, and Frontier, where they are at the gates, not just at TSA, but at the gates, and maybe they share that data with the companies. But there's another piece of it, which is, can they get that good and coordinate with the Homeland Security that things don't happen like I just mentioned, like where we come in the US and it doesn't recognize her as a someone that can come into the U.S. Oh, that's a problem because on paper I could bring up all the papers. I have a whole briefcase of papers and be like, this is why she's able to, and based on the Constitution and all the laws that are in place, she's able to come in and out. But what if the system's saying something else? Oh, well, the system says this, so you're gonna have to do this, and then that's something that's scary. So when you have reliance less on the humans and more on the tech, that's going to be something that Big Bear, in order to be seen as truly a valuable company and not become what could be a really bad thing for them, which would be not getting the data right. They're collecting millions of people's of data now. So they've got to get that data organization right and make sure things are properly linked to the Homeland Security records, which again, maybe that's an archaic system. I'm not really sure, but I know that's going to be a whole nother thing as well. And then maybe that's an opportunity for them to become one of the main players. Now, one of the things too that we saw was this Kevin McAleenan, this new CEO, was previously acting Secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So if there was anyone that would be able to understand the documentation stuff and how the system works, this CEO would probably be the guy. So Also was commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Immigration Enforcement. And look, I don't not like the system. Some people hate the system. Like, it's so bad, with Homeland Security. It's hard if you don't know how to do like lawyer type stuff, or you got to hire a lawyer and spend $10,000 or $20,000, $30,000, and then they might not care about your immigration as much as you do, and they got other clients, and so it's hard. But if you figure it out and you do it yourself, like how we did, then it could be worth it. It could be worth it to do it. And one of the resources that we did, and this, what I'm saying is that they have a system and it works. It's actually not bad. It's just requires you to get all the nitty gritty details. And when you do, they let her come in and out of the US all the time, no questions asked. She can work, she can do whatever. She's not a full citizen yet, but she's getting there. And so, one of the companies that I got to shout out because they saved us $8,000, and so they deserve the viewership of, I'm sure maybe there's some people wondering about citizenship. If you want it, and I got to shout them out. I never did a review, but I'll tell you what, they saved us $8,000. Here's the company. They're based out of Salt Lake City. They're called Simple Citizen. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sponsored here. They saved me $8,000 easy. So there you go. They just paid $8,000 worth of value. They get maybe $8,000 or 8,000 people or more to see it. Simple Citizen. What they did is we paid I don't know what their prices are now. What are their prices? Maybe their prices are more now. We got for $300 what was the professional, but I would encourage you to do it. Whatever it is now. Now it's 1,100 or whatever. They basically sent software and they said, here's all the documents that you don't have. You need to get this, and then they would go over all the documents once it's all approved. They're like, yep, and it matches the current documents for USCIS, which is the part of Homeland Security that you got to match all the documents. They update them every day. Their software says you're good to go. They print it out with little tags for you to sign, and they send it to you in the mail. You sign it all, and then you can just send it off to USCIS, and you should get a green card back in the mail, something like that. It really does work like that. So shout out. Anyway, guys, when it comes to Big Bear, levels to watch. Let's show the drawing, see where we're at. $6.50 support. We talked about this for the past few days. You got a support here at 670. You got a resistance up there at about $8 a share. And we're watching here. They've been kind of downtrending a little bit. And we entered a trade today. It hasn't moved much. I think it might even hit a stop there. But they could sell down to as much as $6 a share and continue this downtrend that we're seeing. So sell down to support, maybe get back up to $7. Or they use this previous support here. Kind of see it a little bit. It's not as strong anymore. It kind of broke through it. And they could potentially make this reversal up here into this $7 to $8 range. Now we might see them sell off all the way until earnings. It's possible. And earnings will be a big catalyst. But right now they're at a key level. We're going to see if they can reverse back up into that $7.50 range. That's a more bullish approach. Conservatively, they could reach $6.20 first before continuing up. But that's the consolidation. You can kind of see it now from left to right here at this top that we see. And either they're going to reverse, and that's the 3 stages to reversal. You got the first trend, then you got consolidation, then we have a downtrend, or it's just a consolidation, kind of finding its price, its confidence before potentially pricing it at a higher level for Big Bear. That's how it looks. So if you guys ever want to watch us trade live, I trade live every morning at market open. You can get access to all the targets for the week. So we have earnings every single week. You see, we just released these about 16 hours ago. We do every start of the week. All these companies that are at least notable in AI, space tech, a little bit of aviation, as well as quantum. We have targets for all of them and when they're reporting. So you can see pre-market, after hours. That's included in Stockmates. The other thing that's included in Stockmates is a free t-shirt I'll send to you and a custom profit plan that you get when you join. Now that included, you also get the daily live trading every morning at market open. We go live and you can join us there in our daily live trading. You can see it says currently live, but if I refresh the page, it should say, it says currently live, but the next one you can see is happening at 9:30 tomorrow. Looks like I need to change that. But yeah, 34 people RSVP'd. Usually about 50 investors or so are there each morning. So again, if you want to join us, it's the second link in the description. And I would encourage you, there's a summer sale. Just take advantage of, or simply just take a look. Just take a look. Second link down below. Simply take a look. It's something you want to see. Smash that like button if I earned it. Do consider subscribing and comment your thoughts on Big Bear below. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.